Happy Monday. I'm so sick of Monday. But I shouldn't say it like that. I think I'm sick of like the feeling and the connotation that Monday gives, because actually my Mondays are usually pretty good. They're really quiet. I don't schedule tons and tons of meetings on Mondays. But as I am transitioning back into my regular work schedule, because I've been working from home, Mondays are about to get real disrespectful, hence real close. But you know, time for coffee date. Okay, so I'm excited. It's Monday. Right? It's Monday. Yay! Monday. And we are going to do the strong stuff today. We're gonna do Joe's. Again, you all know this is one of my favorite coffees, this particular brand. It's from Paramount Coffees, and the Joe line is really good. My favorite one is still the light blue bag, the donut shot bag. I cannot find it anywhere, but this one is a really great one too. It's a bit stronger, which I need today, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do this one, and I have a little bit of the creme brulee creamer left, so we're gonna use that creamer. Okay, so while that starts, we are going to go ahead and get started with today's date. I hope that you guys are well. I hope that June has been treating you good, that you're feeling pretty good about what you've got going on. What you're setting out to accomplish, because we talked about that. We talked about really putting our minds at ease about our afflictions being an issue, and we should begin to think of them more as propeller, right? Like, these are things that are going to push us forward, and if we can endure, we're going to prove our character, and we're going to gain the hope that we need of God, right? So we've talked about that. But again, this is life, and because we also have been working on our balance, because that's the thing, sometimes we can dive way too far, right? We can do too much. And so I thought it would be really good that as we're completing this month, which is the last month of the first half of the year, is to do Ecclesiastes 4 and 6. Ecclesiastes 4 and 6. Hold on one second. All right, Ecclesiastes 4 and 6. And it says, better one handful with rest than two handfuls with effort and a pursuit of the wind. And that's Ecclesiastes 4 and 6. And it says, better one handful with rest than two handfuls with effort and a pursuit of the wind. Or another way to look at it is, better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Okay, so here's what we're saying today, okay? A lot of times we feel this pressure to do the absolute most. The minute we get charged up and we're ready to go and to do things, sometimes we feel pressure and we feel like we got two hands, we got 2 feet, we got to be running at all times, so we got to have our hands full at all times doing work, doing things, right? But there has to be balance. There has to be balance. And we talked about that. There was a Monday that I was very transparent about where I was and really honing in on the balance, but I wanted to bring that conversation back and to remind you how important it is to actually be aware of your margins. And your margins is that space between your actual capacity and what's not your capacity, right? And those things that are kind of our limits, let's say our limits. So it's you, limit, capacity, not our capacity. The margin is in between. And so we have to be really aware of our margins, because right now, I know for me, my margin is getting really small because I'm working on some projects and I'm trying to get things done. And the word had to kind of come back and sweetly remind you, if you don't sit your tail down, no ma'am. You were just talking about being overwhelmed and anxious and doing too much and having this perfectionist spirit and thinking you could do everything, that you have filled your hands You have filled your hands with things to do, but you haven't rested. You haven't had quality time with me. You haven't done the things that you said that you were going to do, that you were going to do better about in this month. You haven't done those things because you are so focused on the work and on what you believe is going to be the end game. But we talked about this last week. God knows the end. He can see around every corner. We can't see around every corner. There are some things that he has told you that he's going to do, but he hasn't told you every step of the way. And he hasn't told you some of those things are going to build into that purpose. So you thinking that you can handle everything, that's a miss. You don't even know everything in the first place to handle it. How'd that work? So you have to learn to rest your mind and to rest your nerves. Okay? You have to learn to do that. Hold on one second. Now, I don't know how I did this, but I just made the weakest cup of coffee I've ever made in my life. Can y'all see this? Can y'all see that? The weakest cup of coffee. Now, the cup is like a light blue color. It's like a clearish light blue color. And I have creamer in it. And I just poured coffee. Welcome to Monday. It's good water. But that's proof, right? That's proof. That's proof. So obviously there was a step that I missed. There was something that I missed. I obviously didn't put enough coffee in there, or I put too much water. I did something. And so that actually really plays into what we're talking about. We get so busy and so caught up in filling our hands with things to do that we forget to actually rest and rest our minds, right? So that we can recalibrate, we can think things through, we can make sure that we've mapped things out according to his plan and his directives, and so that we can be actually effective. Because if you're burnt out, you're not gonna get nothing done, right? If you're overwhelmed, you're not gonna get nothing done. If you've missed steps, you're not gonna get anything done well. And if you have rushed through the process because you want to attain something that you think he said, you'll never reach the end goal. Case in point, Petra's coffee. But it's true. We have to remember that as we prepare to enter the second half of the year, that we have to have balance. It is better to have a handful of rest than 2 handfuls of toil and chasing after the wind. And they say it's the wind. The word says it's the wind because you're not going to catch it no way. It's going to be a constant struggle for you to chase after this thing that is ever moving, that you cannot feel with your fingers, right? You cannot touch it. And you cannot contain it. It's going to be a constant battle for you. And so it's better now, while you have the opportunity and you're gearing up for this last half, to incorporate balance into your daily life. It's important. It's really, really important, because God is calling you to something great. And to actually achieve that, he needs you to have your head in the game. Your head can't be in the game if you're tired. Your head can't be in the game if you're overwhelmed. Your head can't be in the game if you're thinking about something he didn't even tell you to think about. Hello, somebody. You have to put your head in the game. And that requires you remembering that there has to be balance, and you have to be aware of your margins. Your margins are key. Don't make your margins like this, where it goes from you to your limits, or your capacity to your limits, right? Widen those margins. Give yourself some grace space. I like that. Some grace space. Give yourself some of that, okay? Because you're going to need it, because there's going to be a lot that's required of you in this next season. There is a lot that is required of you in this next season. And quite frankly, it's required of you in this next season because you weren't obedient in the first one and doing it and getting it started. Okay? And so right now, God is saying we got to make up some time and we got to get going. We have to get going. There are people that are waiting on you. There are projects that are waiting on you. There is glory that is waiting on you, right? And so he said we have to get moving. We have to get moving. And so to really make this an effective season for you, you have to check your margins, know what your capacity is, know what your limit is, give yourself the appropriate grace space, rest as needed and as God calls you to, so that you are able to focus on the plan and to get moving when he says go. Because when he says go, you ain't got time to get tired. You ain't got time. You ain't got time. We're not going to chase the wind. We're not going to chase the wind anymore. We're not going to worry about those things that we feel are our deficits anymore. We're not going to feel about what we think other people think about what we're doing anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to check our margins. We're going to have balance. And we're going to walk out the plan that God has given us. We're going to be obedient in this season. And obedience is not just the plan, it's the goal. Obedience is not just the plan, it's the goal. And so you need to put some rest in there, sis, because there's something coming for you. And you have to be ready. Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. So hold on to Ecclesiastes 4 and 6 for this week and the rest of the year. Hold on to it. You're going to need it. It's going to be good. You're going to have an amazing week, because I'm going to trust that you're going to really check those margins and you're going to build in some rest for yourself, because as it says, one handful with rest is better than two handfuls with effort and a pursuit of the wind. I don't want just effort. I want results. I want results. How about you? Okay, so I am going to try to drink this effort coffee. That's what I'm going to try to do. And I hope that you have an amazing week, pretty. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.